What are you doing? What are you doing? You're scaring your Nana. Yeah. I straighten you out and I come back not even 2 minutes later and there you are, sitting up. Yeah. Yeah, doing that all by yourself. Mm-hmm. You got your Nana perplexed. Yeah. He likes it. It's a little scary for me though. But he kind of knows to do this. And then he lays, like, he moves his legs over here. And then once he's here, watch what he does. Watch what he does. It won't be long. What you gonna do? Hmm? Oh, you know you're on the camera? Is that it? You being shy? You playing shy? Shy? Huh? Show everybody how you sit up all by yourself. Give your Nana a partial heart attack. Yeah. Oh, there he goes. Doing that pretty good. Oops, there you go. Come on, I know you can do it. There, see? He's a little whippersnapper. Huh? Whoopsie. You don't quit. No. No. You're too funny, Amari. Look how fast he is. You're fast at it. You're fast at it. Yeah. And his legs, oh boy, are they ever strong. He's stronger than me, and he's not even 5 yet. Uh-huh. When he wants to use his legs, won't let me bend them, or wants to lift his little butt up off the bed, or the couch, or whatever, and he stiffens up his legs and arches his back, I can't bend him. No way. He's like strong. Mm-hmm. And what he's doing now is just making him stronger. It's just making you stronger. Yeah. And his reach is getting farther out and faster and stronger. His hand, obviously his left hand, right? Not the right hand, but that left hand is pretty fast and quite strong. Mm-hmm. Now I know if I leave, I'll come back in 2 minutes and you'll be sitting up again. Yeah. You're scaring your Nana. Because it's that fast. See how fast? He knows exactly what he's doing. And then he looks. Because I think he kind of knows. Right? It's the rail that supports his legs, though, which helps him to not fall over. Right? Look how nice and straight he's sitting up on his own. Right? So I don't know what to do. Maybe extend the rail. I got a different baby gate rail. You've seen those. I don't know if I want it up any higher, because then it becomes like a jail. This isn't a jail. This is just, see, he can look over and, you know, right? And what you finding? What do you see? I don't know if he has a concept of, you know, because he doesn't try too hard to go past it. It's almost like, you know, well, he does kind of know, because he has fell off the couch a couple times over the years, right? Most of the time he's okay. One time he got stuck between the couch and the rail, and he was so he kind of knows, right? How much he knows, I don't know for sure yet, but it looks like he knows. It looks like you know what you're doing. Yeah. It sure does. You're just becoming more and more of a Houdini baby. Always gonna be that Houdini baby. Yeah. That would be his nickname. Houdini baby. Yeah. I can't imagine what it's gonna be like when he's 20 years old. He'll be that much stronger, that much bigger. I would think that much more coordinated. Yeah, I think so. So, I have to put a pillow there though, because when he falls back, he falls back. And if he falls and he can hit his head on the arm of the couch, and it's not necessarily soft. Always have to worry about that, right? Him bumping his head too hard. You know, but nothing is perfect in life because he'd have to be in a padded room. Right? But you have to be aware of that. Always try and keep that in mind. Because he doesn't fall back slowly and gently. He normally just falls back and whack. So, it's another one of those things you have to keep an eye open for. Hey, he's pretty good at it. He just keeps doing it. Yeah, you just keep doing it. No stopping you now. What, you coming to get me? Or are you coming to get the camera? Which one? Huh? Oh boy. Good exercise for his back. Alright. But I don't know. There's just something in there that prevents those legs from... Like I said, he can kick. He can push with his legs. But he can't use his legs. Per se. Can't stand. Doesn't like to put pressure on his legs in a standing position. Anyway, this is good. Look at you. What are you doing? Huh? When he's determined to do this, nothing stops him. He literally wiggles himself around just so he can do it. Or he'll be laying over there, where his pillow is, flip himself over here, next thing you know, his head's over where I am. And his feet are over there. Yeah. He knows how to do that, too. Like, literally knows what he's doing. He does it on purpose. Just like he does this on purpose. He knows if he slides his legs down, hang on to the rail, he can sit up and look around. He's not going to fall. And he's safe. And he knows it, too. Yeah. It's just he's getting bigger. So with bigger comes more weight, which comes, you know, the weight makes him fall if, you know, he's not propped up properly. The one baby baby rail that's in the X Club is longer than this. I could extend this. I don't want it having weight height-wise, because then he'd be looking through rails. Right? Although it might have to come to that one day, because he'll get so big, he'll just flop over the rail. He can't really flop over yet. He's not tall enough. And he'd have to be tall enough and then reach over and try and grab something, and then his weight would pull him. Right? Unless, of course, he figured out not to do that. But, of course, he's not going to be able to figure it out unless he has opportunity to try things out. So, we're not at that stage yet, though. Because he knows. If you notice, he's not pushing it. I'm working in my sewing room just sorting out shit. Trying to just clear it out a little bit more so I can get into the sewing machine and use my sewing table and get into this leather and just whatever I want to do. But it's so hard to see anything, so it just takes that much longer. I've got no room to put anything anywhere either. But it's the eyesight that's the issue more than anything. Everything's so dark and gray. Blurry. It's pathetic. It's been 2.5 months. Still waiting for this referral. Tisha and I, well, Tisha's looking around for a glaucoma specialist to find out how much it's going to cost to do cataract surgery with the best lenses, which is probably about $1,500. And I might have to pay for the whole thing because chances are my social assistance coverage won't be covered for a glaucoma specialist that isn't plugged into that program. I think I'm not getting the referral because it's the same individual that I had before Gupta, right? A Punjabi woman, right? That, 2 bottles of Freezy Agent later, right? But of course, it's my fault, right? She's not calling because, what? I can't get referrals. Shit. Whatever. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see if I can even get a doctor outside of what my medical plan pays for. And if I can, how much am I looking at to get cataract surgery? Because I'm really hoping that once I get this cataract surgery, which I probably can't do to the wintertime anyway, it's already been kind of planned. If I'm going to do that, it's got to be around wintertime when I'm not so busy with everything else going on in this house in terms of yard and all that crap. I have to do porch repairs and, things I have to do in the yard, and working in the basement. And of course, I lift up Amari every day, 15, 25 times, 50 times a day, depending on what it is. Whether I'm picking him up here and just lifting him up and putting him back over there to come back 5 minutes later, do it again, or picking up here and walking to the bedroom, or picking him up from the bed and putting him on the toilet, and that kind of stuff. I'm always picking him up. And then I got laundry to do again. What's new, pussycat? Right, do dishes every day. Oh boy. So we'll see. We'll see what happens by the winter time, assuming that I don't go completely blind before then. Because it does. It gets worse every week. Just seems darker and darker. I think I came into contact with some poison somewhere along the line. Something. It happened over the winter, people. I was seeing fine. Right? When I was doing all those vegetables from Pastor Granny, those things were frozen. My eyes were fine. Okay? Alright. It wasn't until after, I don't know, my landlady's son came by. And then, in around that time, something happened. I don't know. Soon after, at the same time, I don't know. For all I know, somebody could have poisoned my doorknob. Right? If my son downstairs is getting slime on his doorknob, what's being put on my doorknob? Like, literally, who knows? What's we already know bleach is being put into my dirt. What else is being put into my dirt? Who knows? Could be anything. Right? Just stupid shit. Like, it happened too fast. Like, too fast. Right? Like, I don't think it just happens like that. In terms of one day you can see and 3 months later you can't. Like, I just don't see it happening like that. Something else happened. No, this house is dark, but even still. Whatever. So, I am proud of Amari. Amari's doing a good job. This is another milestone. A milestone that you're mastering. Because you've been doing this quite a bit lately. Yeah, giving none of those little panic attacks or little mini heart attacks. You know? I'm like, oh, what are you doing? Amari! As your mother would say. What are you doing? You're supposed to be sleeping. Why are you awake? Amari! What are you doing? As your mother would say. See? Every single time he loves it. He loves it. Yes, he loves it when his mother says, Amari! What are you doing? You're supposed to be sleeping. Amari, what are you doing? Amari, what are you doing? Amari, you're supposed to be sleeping. Amari, what are you doing? As your mother would say, Amari, what are you doing? See? And then he wants now to explore, right? He wants to go past the gate. And that's what gets him into trouble, right? Because his body, you know, just makes him fall. And then he can't get himself unstuck. Or he's just happy to be wherever it was that he fell. And laughing and giggling and thinking it's funny that he accomplished something. Only he's not that bouncing baby anymore. You know how they say bouncing babies, right? So, you know, he's getting older now, so gotta be even more vigilant. Right? The bigger they are, the harder they fall. So I'm like, what am I gonna do? That's why we got this baby rail, but I couldn't put it here because it wouldn't strap onto the couch. I couldn't even strap it onto the couch, I don't think, if I wanted to. Right? So I think it's gonna be the baby crib rail. Yeah. I'll try that first. Like when I open up the box, I'll bring it out and see, but you know, you won't be able to strap it on. That's the thing. Probably wouldn't even be high enough. And you could see more through this. Right? There's no mesh. I run fabric. I hang sometimes I hang a blanket over that. Right? So his feet don't go through it, right? But he still slides himself down and hangs his feet between the couch and the rail, even if there's a blanket on there, and will still set himself up. It's just he's getting more better at it and faster and quicker and more confident with it, which is, you know, kind of scaring me, right? Because, you know, I don't know what his next Houdini move is going to be. Okay, bring out your legs. Come on. Come on. There you go. I gotta say sick of crabs now because I really can't eat them. And then as you see, I pencil him in, right? But he just tosses everything around. Yeah, and then he just goes for what he wants to do. Yeah, if he wants to start grabbing things up there, he'll worm his way, and then he reaches, right? Okay. Now, you tell me. I think it's July 18th, 2022. And I'm just, you know, trying to be frugal here, but What do you think happened here, people? Look at this big gaping hole. When I came here, there was a, what do you call it? Like, you know, a swoop. I'm telling you, somebody came in here. What's this? Yeah, no, see, this is in the ground. Okay, these are potato plants, right? But somebody came and took the whole thing. They took the leaves and everything. If the raccoon did it, oh my God, I've been pulling morning glory, you don't know. I hate it. I'm wondering if it's the histamines from the morning, well, it's not even morning glory, it's the bindweed. It's an offshoot to the morning glory. I think morning glories are actually purple. When they're getting into your whites, it becomes a bindweed, and it is a weed. But it gives off like histamines and stuff. So anyway, if you notice, look. Do you see my straw? Do you see my straw? Right? Okay. Well, what happened to it over here, though? Where did everything go? Like, it's like, actually, now that I'm looking at it, it's two holes. Somebody came in here, somehow grabbed my plant, pulled them out. If there were potatoes, if there was, I don't know. It's not like I've been looking after this, right? You can see how dry it is. And just walked off with the whole thing. I don't see no potato clippings here. These are potatoes that I planted, but who knows? Like, these ones are still in the ground, but right here and missing. Do you see? Right? You can't tell me my yard isn't being stalked by that bitch. Okay? And she continues to do her little whatever she does. What is it? Scamming? Look how deep this hole is. There was potatoes in here. I walked off with everything. Same with right here too. 2 mounds. Not on this side though. Yet. Look how lush this one is. Right? But what happened over there? Tell me. You can clearly see it. That's what I mean. It's bullshit. Complete bullshit, people. It's too easy for her to... My son said, oh no, that wasn't her. I said, well, yeah. He goes, no, it was some home, people are hungry these days. That's what he said. Going around stealing people's food in their gardens. I said, no. Like, I'm trying to blame it on a homeless person. I'm like, no, I don't think so. Not like that. Not where they're going to take the stock and all. It wasn't the raccoons. Because if it was the raccoons, it'd be more torn up. It wouldn't be so uniform, right? And they sure in the hell wouldn't have ran off with the leaves and everything. They ran off with the leaves and the whole thing. It's like they grabbed the whole plant and just ran off and picked up a few potatoes along the way. What the fuck? Serious. And she close by. Right? She's not as rich as she plays herself out to be. She can only afford to live in Surrey. Poor people live in Surrey. But we're being pushed out. Pushed out with those subsidized foreigners that want our houses by any means necessary. So, you can't win for losing. No. And like, I'm trying not to be paranoid about it, people. Seriously, I'm trying so hard not to be paranoid about it. That's what she wants to hear, though. Oh, that bitch is getting paranoid. Oh, If somebody was going around poking in your food, you'd be paranoid too. The only thing is, people, you know, I'm at the end of my rope with this house. Like, seriously. In the good old days, with my videos in the yard, life was different. Now I'm like that, I'm that dish maid, you know? And it's just enough for me to cook and clean and do the dishes. And like, I planted potatoes today. I'll show you. Right? I mean, how safe they'll be. Well, they're not any more safer than what's on the porch or anywhere else in this yard. Okay? But I did. I took a half a day and I planted my last little bit of potatoes. And we're going to do, there's 3 different kinds of potatoes in there. And when we get to that, I'll explain it to you. And it's kind of like a little science experiment because honestly, it's really cold right now in terms of, you know, plants, they like it nice and hot and sunny. It's not so hot and sunny right now. So, but yeah, I got a few things here and a few things there, but, you know, I don't expect no big bounty, that's for sure. That's just more work, because then I'd have to process it, you know, can it, freeze it, whatever, dehydrate it, whatever, right? And really, I'm not up for it. I got that turkey and that cod, that black cod that I still have to do, and my lard, and I want to make some more ghee at some point in the future. Outside of that, like, it's just the idea of the whole situation, because, you know, I'm trapped in this house. It's not like I can go rent another house because they're all overinflated in price because of the corruption in the BC housing market. And, you know, that's how they're making money, right? It's just flipping houses and shit like that. Flushing out vulnerable families. And then some of them participate in illegal organ harvesting, which makes them more money, right? So, let's see what we got. These are getting ready to bloom. No bees. Very, very little, you know, nothing's flying around. You can see that. Now, mind you, it's a little chilly, but even still, right? You know, dead tree. All right, there's a dead tree over there. All right, this is dead. Dead as a doornail. The whole thing. Right? And now my potatoes are being robbed. Stalk and all. Right? Just a bunch of, let's just call it weeds. Smells nice in here though. It really does. Alright. Don't have the time like the good old days. Alright. I'm working on it though. I'm working on it. I'll show you the potatoes I planted today. I haven't even been showing an interest in the raspberries. People, I can't even see the raspberries. No, with this cataract situation or whatever going on, I can barely see color now. Never mind a raspberry on a green plant. Oh yeah, it's pretty rough. Look at this. Morning glory. Like the good old days. Do you see this? This is the shit that makes me fucking sick. Sorry, boo-boo sick. Like, seriously. I haven't been out here. If you're not out here slaving away 10 hours a day, 5 days a week, that's what happens. It's like all over. It's pathetic. You don't know. Like, when I first moved into this house, people, it was 50 bags in a summer. Like those big brown paper bags full of freaking morning glory. From back to front, side to left. It was, what is this? What kind of plant is this? My son didn't plant this year. So this thing decided to grow in multiples and it gets really high. I don't think it's edible. I don't know what it is. Oh, my ear is ringing. Ringing. Look, here's another one. This whole bed So I have to take this all out. Because this is a garden box. See? Now it's in the compost. I noticed my son, I don't know what he's thinking, but I left him. He's been putting wood. See, there's one. I thought, okay. And you're just adding your touch. Okay, so what we got are 3 different types of potatoes here. Over here and over there were some old rusted potatoes that I probably had Andre to come to throw in the compost, and instead of throwing them into the compost, he threw them right there. Now, they're grocery store bought. They're grocery store bought, so technically you can't really grow them, technically. Although I did see one video on YouTube where somebody did it. To what degree, I don't know, like how. It's best to get seed potatoes if you can get them to plant in the ground. And if you can't do that, then at least try and get organic potatoes in a grocery store before you rely on just a standard potato that's been sprayed, okay? But they were here, and they were quite big, and they were wanting to root. So I just, as the experiment, right, I put a couple, okay. And then when I did the boxes upstairs on the porch, I used, for my boxes, the first 3 boxes, see, I'm pulling on that morning glory. I can feel it. Anyway, I can smell it. I used potatoes that were organic that I bought in a grocery store, okay? And by the time they've been in there for about, what, a week, maybe and a bit more, just about a week, they were already starting to grow roots and wanting to spread out, but I had put too many in one box, so I took out a whole bunch and I put them in here. So they are going in already starting to sprout, and not only that, but they plumped up. Okay, when I put them in, they were smaller, but when I pulled them out, they plumped up. I found that to be interesting. I didn't know that would happen. Anyway, and then I had my little leftover of seed potatoes that we didn't put up on the porch because, you know, cutting back on the number of potatoes per box. And because I have the land, people, right? This is why. I just threw them in here. So we've got 3 different kind of potatoes in there. And we're just going to see what happens by the end of October in terms of what we get. If we get anything, okay? You know, I'm not going hungry here, okay? You don't know how many. I got dried potatoes from whenever, okay? Like, you know, it's like, it's not, it's the extra. But this here, this is as plain as day. Okay, this is mindfuckery. Okay, just saying. Just saying. All right. So, you know, nothing is safe in this yard. Not anymore. No. No. Oh, yeah, my son said, well, maybe it was an Asian woman, a little old Asian woman that came into your yard and needed some potatoes. I said, you gotta be kidding me. So it was no Asian woman, like a Chinese woman, elderly Chinese woman. I said, no elderly Chinese woman is gonna come into the yard and hijack on potatoes, right? But like even here. Okay, now I know raccoons don't eat onions. They don't, people. I just put some in here. And this was already moved. So I wouldn't be surprised. There should be onions, and there's one. Where am I? There. Right? One. Oh, there's another one. Unless, of course, maybe this is pushing, could be. I don't know. But, you know, it's like, So if you're going to have growing food, I suggest that you find a way to keep the crooks out when the shit hits the fan. Seriously. It's so bushy out here. It's hard though. I can't see. Everything's gray. I have to go slow. Look at it. I love this. I think this is called lamb's foot or something because it's soft. The leaves are soft. And it's such a pretty plant. And then we got potatoes over here. But are they safe? Right. I don't think so. I don't know what's going on with them. See, raccoons are not interested in this shit. Nothing's moving. Until, you know. Right. Who else you gonna blame? Who else you gonna blame, people? Who would do something stupid as what they did over there? I don't know. I'm looking to see if there's a potato in here. These things got in late, and these ones were from the grocery store. Nothing. I don't see no potatoes. Oh boy. Who knows? I don't see no potatoes. Oh, hold on. So, I did find 4 so far. Just little ones. Look at that one. They're nice. But, how safe are they going to be, people? That's the thing. Yeah. Anyway. I'll just cover it back up and not worry about it too much. Alright. Ooh, where's my bounty? Here they are. Nice. Nice and fresh. Okay, now we'll take you to the X Club, and then... Oh yeah, I'm still watering. Gotta water a few things first. Some onions. These onions here, these things just grow every year. They don't really do anything with them. But these ones here, there's a little story behind these ones. You know how they say you can go to a grocery store, buy green onions, cut off the ends, put them in water or dirt or something, and they'll grow? Well, I did that, and I had them under the little grow light in my dining room area, you know, a science experiment, whatever. And then eventually whatever survived, which was quite a few of them, really. These things are, like, pretty nice, actually. I'm pretty impressed. I could probably cut them and start them over again and have another crop by the end of summer. Because in a situation like this, you just cut them into little pieces and dehydrate them. And you have them for your meals, because these are nice. Like, really nice. So I'm going to do that. But yeah, no, these came from the grocery store, cut them off, right, put them in dirt, put them under a grow light. When spring came, threw them in the ground, and now I'm glad I did. Yeah. This is a whole bunch of broccoli. Broccoli I haven't gotten to yet. But you could eat that right now. Right? You don't have to wait for it to get big. I just haven't had time to transplant anything. Right? What's this? I guess that's a broccoli too. That one got big. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. And then we've got potato in there too. Right? But who knows how safe it's going to be. We don't know. This is getting taller and taller. Hold on. See? It's already coming. But no bees. And no hornets. I haven't seen any hornets. It wasn't very many hornets last year either. Okay. Oh, I haven't gone to the X Club yet, but you know, people, I've been in this house, what, 12 years, pushing on 13 years here. 12 years, right? I have never, ever have this happen to me. Ever. This has always been full of beans. But not this year. Isn't that interesting, don't you think? Should be looking like this. But for whatever reason, it looks like that. Okay, so before we go outside, I'm talking. Where I showed you that big gaping hole, with the whole plant and everything gone, that's all I found. And there was another one that was rooting, so I left that. Other than that, whoever did that, they ran off with the stalk. I'm assuming potatoes, because there was 2 plants there, clearly you could tell. And that's what they left me. Okay? So yeah, what I did is I came in here, right? I'll just show you, for example. I planted these, I think, about a week ago. I don't have gloves on, but whatever, I need a bath. And these ones were store-bought organic potatoes, right? Like, I took out a whole bunch because, you know, it'd be nice to get a few potatoes, right? Put too many potatoes in, and I don't know how well they grow. And being that I had the dirt, I just put them out in the dirt. Because ideally, if you can grow them in the dirt versus in a box, you want to do that. Now, the thing is, I may have to run a plastic over this yet, because you don't want these things getting saturated. Right now, it's still okay, because, you know, it's not raining that much, right? See? See? Look. Right, look. Like, this will be nice. So that is an organic potato from the grocery store that I put in here about a week ago or so. Okay? So it is doable. If you're going to do this way, then what you want to do is just watch for moisture. Okay? I mean, obviously you want to give them as much sun as you can, but you also don't want to saturate them. And now you have to keep in mind, these are for fall. So, you know, at some point, it's going to start raining. So when it starts raining more, I'm going to take a plastic sheeting and I'm going to shelter them from the rain, but not the elements, so they can continue to grow and they don't get waterlogged. Keep that in mind. And I think the moral of this whole situation is the more that you can attempt, I don't want to say lock things up, but, you know, it's something that you should have as a backup. Just in case, you know, because we don't know who's roaming our yards, right? This is more broccoli. I got all this broccoli growing. And you can see the ginger is just popping up more and more. I leave it in here because apparently ginger doesn't like full direct sunlight, and it seems to be growing here, so I just leave it there. It likes it there, right? And yeah, I'm gonna work on clearing out this area and turning it into a little grow room just for the fun of it. And now we're gonna go to the greenhouse, but before we do that, let's look at the warrior tree. I don't know. I might have to cut this thing down. I might. I'm debating. Not that I don't love it, because I do. But it's an aggressive tree with its root systems. And I just don't know. I was so hoping it would give me nuts this year, but it didn't. It takes about 10 years for a tree to produce nuts. And I think this thing has been in the ground for, what, 5 years? I'd have to go back into my videos. It busted through its pot, and this is what it's been doing. Hold on. Yeah, this baby is, like, big. Could you imagine if there was a walnut tree just right here? Wouldn't that just be fantastic? It would be, like, the glory of all glory in terms of the gift from heaven. Oh, it's so sappy. So sappy. Oh, my. Smells so good. Nice and fresh. You can make ink powder with the leaves. When fall comes and everything starts to fall, I do gather up the leaves, dry them, and then run them through a blender and put them in jars. And that will be one day for Andre's walnut art, but as if I got time. But this thing is, I don't know. It's like massive. It's getting like massive. Look at this. I love it though. And then this one is a English walnut. Right? You can see the difference between the leaves. This is an English walnut. This is a black walnut. Right? You can use every part of the black walnut tree for one reason or another. And when you make ink from the husks, and I would even assume the leaves and everything else, but definitely the husks, it will last for 1,000 years. And then we got trees back there. I gotta get back there. That's a big chore. My son's been a busy bee. Clearing out the garage, making it easy for me. I'm trying to take it in stride. So, now for me, everything looks gray, okay? I don't know what it looks like for you, but it's taken root. This one, obviously not. I don't know what's going on there. Right, so I was gonna come in here. That would maybe tomorrow, right? They're just taking root because I just put them in, right? These ones over here, some of them are sprouting up real fast. Okay, this has all been going on, what, over the last week, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks? This is what I've accomplished in 2 weeks. And you can see, look, these ones really like it here. And I haven't even given them any plant food yet. Okay, and this is spruce needles. Okay, high in vitamin C. Right. So look, see, look, nice. Right now, whether I get tomatoes or not remains to be seen because it's gonna get cold, right? But I'm hoping that I can move some of these either inside the house, or maybe we'll have a secondary hydroponic light hanging, like a grow light, and it can be fed through hydroponics at the bottom of, you know, something like this maybe. I don't know. Right? Depending on how big they get and what I get accomplished between now and the next little while. See, this one took. All right. So it's much better than what it was, right? And we got potatoes over here too. All right, don't be afraid to live your life, people. Okay, these ones were the seed potatoes at $9 a bag that were already sprouting up. Okay, you can see I can see it's right. That's all it needed was some sun. So these things will grow now, hopefully undisturbed, for the next, well, half of July, August, most definitely September, and maybe into October. So even if I get small little potatoes, 4 or 5 or 6 per plant, for each potato that I planted, that's still pretty good. Right? So I have to put a lock on this though. Okay, because nothing is safe in my yard, remember that. Right? So that's something I have to do when I bring out tools and stuff, but I'm not worrying about that just yet. My mission was to get things planted as much as I could for what it's worth, right? And do a little science experiment. Other than that, yeah, I just go about my business. So I'm going to water some stuff now. I have to.